Okay, National Hunt Chase. We'll go to George first. Out of the way.
Yeah, I kept swaying really between Embassy Gardens and Nick Rocket. You know, he was flawless last time Embassy Gardens, wasn't he? He's by Shantou, produced loads of top stayers. Hard to find a reason he can't stay. I think he probably is still value at 5 to 2, isn't he? I think Nick Rocket looks like he's sort of improving all the time. He's always been well thought of in the yard, and he's probably a bigger price than he should be on account of the fact he'll be second string. I'd narrowly go with Embassy Gardens, but the one I dug out down the bottom was Henry's Friend, who I was there when he won at Ascot the last day with first time cheap pieces. He got beaten on his chasing debut and then won his next two, but this last one was a ridiculous improvement in form. He was wrong at the weights in the race with every single horse but one. And with the first time cheap pieces on, he won, gave Apple away a 2 3/4 length beating. The handicapper obviously agrees with like what a sort of turn up for the books that was, because he's put him up £8. Another step forward, could see him hit the places. He's 20 to 1. And I'd probably almost rather be with him each way than one of the ones at the top to win. So I think there's not much in it between these top few. So I'd probably play Henry's Friend each way.
Okay. Matty?
Yeah, Embassy Garden, obviously, Patrick is going to try to go 3 wins in a row for this race. Corbetts Cross, it does put me off a little bit. Horses that have fallen the time before, then to go, listen, they would have done plenty of schooling, but to come back round Cheltenham in a competitive race like that, it just worries me.
Hugh?
Yeah, are they calling the National Hunt Chase after Maureen Mullins? Did I see that today?
Yeah.
It's going
yes.
to be
Yeah.
So, like, you know, and so on that basis, like, you know, look, there's no room for sentiment in anything, right? I know, obviously, they'll be going gung-ho to win this, but they've already declared their hand to, you know, so it doesn't really matter that it's now been declared in her honour, if you get me, because they have their horse, and it's not going to change anything. They'd obviously love to win it in her honour after she just passed, and it would be great. But I think, and it's very unoriginal, and it's very unexciting, Corbetts Cross, like Derek O'Connor, I know he has his critics, but like, you know, if they just switch him off down the back, I think he just has too much pace. If he gets to the finish and you know, he's in with a chance, I think he has too much of a kick to not win this. The question is his jumping. His jumping has not been good, and I can see why. And at the prices, you know, like, I'm probably not going to have a bet. Although, having said that, I mean, I always get to Tuesday, the last race, and go, fuck it, why did Patrick Mullins here? And it served me pretty well. But if you twist my arm, I'd say Corbetts Cross. For sentimentality, Embassy Gardens would be great to win for Maureen Mullins. It's not really much of a steer, so that's what I have.
Right, Danny?
Yeah, Embassy Gardens towards top of the market for me. If I'm looking for one at a bit of a price, he would need to improve his jumping, but I do like free card Bragg. I think he's been screaming out for a proper staying trip. And this is obviously his first opportunity to have that. So, yeah, there's improvement there. It's just whether he's quite capable of jumping well enough. But yeah, if he's still a nice each way price, I'll probably have a little bit on him. But I think 12 to 1 is probably skinny enough. I mean, I think 8 to 1 generally. So I would want maybe 16s, something like that, if I'm going to back him. But yeah, Embassy Gardens a solid one towards the top of the market for me.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned 3-card Bragg back in like early December and said, I think we were talking about a race that he was running, and I was like, he needs 4 miles. He needs 4 miles. So maybe they've listened. And if he goes, then I'll be playing either. So sorry.
I don't think he runs either.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Not great.
Probably doesn't run. So, but yeah, Dawn.
Told by someone from Gordon's that.
Okay.
But I don't think it.
Fair enough. Yeah. You've got the inside scoop, Dawn.
Yeah, I am all for sentiment, and it usually pays for me. So that's where me and you kind of switches. But Corbetts Cross, that Albert Bartlett haunts me. It hurts me still. And a couple of weeks ago, when Run Wild Fred took Corbetts Cross down, he is the most unfortunate horse, Corbetts Cross. And I seen him when he won before JP bought him back in Naas, and I went, this is the real McCoy. the real McCoy. This is the horse that's just going to change things.
What was he? Paul
say
Burns
he
horse
is-
before that? Yeah, he was Paul Burns.
He
horse.
was, yeah.
Yeah.
Another Paul Burns, but they say he's a Grand National horse for the future. His feet are the size of plates. They are massive. But I just think going in that direction, will he go back to Cheltenham and have a bit of PTSD? Some people argue horses don't remember. I argue horses do remember, and they do remember certain things. So for that case, and it'll probably kill me to oppose him, I adore Embassy Gardens. I wanted Embassy Gardens to stay away from Corbetts, and it's going to be very sentimental. And Patrick obviously is going to ride Embassy Gardens. I think Embassy Garden wins. Not because there'll be divine intervention, although I know Maureen will be looking down. Also, I remember last year, Galliad de Manil saved a lot of people's bacon the last race on the Tuesday. So, yeah, really, really sweet on him. Salvador Ziggy, he's a bit of a summer horse. Don't forget how good he was. And I know there's anti posters about him. He was anti-post favourite for this for a long time. Then he went to America and people lost faith. And what I also will say, again, we're going to sentimentality here, and I know Matty will probably back me up. Mr. Vango is in here at 33-1 for the Bradstocks. He won 10 days ago, and he won by 60 lengths at Exeter. He kind of broke the very, very long dry spell of over 400 days for the Bradstocks. A good third at Wincanton. He plugged on at Christmas, Stevens's Day, Boxing Day. And he's bought at the sales by Mark in 2022, the Cheltenham sales for 30,000. So I would have absolutely no problem should this horse win or run into a place. I think for sentimentality value and because he's a really decent horse. I went back and looked at the race. 60 lengths is crazy stuff. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of heart in this race, and yeah, there won't be a dry eye either way. I think.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. I think MC Gardens will probably end up going off really short if the other horses of Willie's run in the right races and win, because it will be one of these sort of roll-up jobbies with all the multiple guys, and he'll be the last leg for a lot of people if Lossymouth, State Man, and the others go in before. So if the horse is 5-2 and 5-2 sort of when declared, then you probably want to be getting on before it ends up going off evens or something stupid like that. So